So, we're going to talk a little bit more today about the benefits of mindfulness and meditation. And it's really interesting because I used to say that exercise is absolutely the best medicine, and that if we could put it in a bottle and sell it to people, then, pharmaceutical companies would be totally out of business because it's the best thing you can do. But I'm going to retract on that just a little bit because besides exercise, mindfulness and meditation is the best medicine. And even to the point that if you can't exercise, say you've been injured or you've had a surgery, you can always practice mindfulness and meditation. So it might be just a little bit more versatile and with just as many benefits as exercise. So let's get into some more of those benefits today. Get my screen up here. All right, so cognitively, so this is all of what's going on in your brain. We've talked a little bit more about how the mind that you use for thinking can actually change with mindfulness and meditation. So our attention span gets better. We can focus a little bit more. We see things that are there rather than missing some of the things that are there. Our memory gets better because we're more present and we're not thinking about a million different other things. Our creativity is better. We get into that Zen zone. We get all creative, and all of those juices are flowing, and so a lot can come out of that mind when it's relaxed, and a lot more creativity can come through there. There's actually many companies that allow their employees to have meditation time in order for them to be inspired creatively, or to come up with innovative ideas, or to solve problems more constructively, because they're able to quiet that mind, and then all these brilliant ideas pop into their heads. As if you're one of those who's still taking tests, it can also improve your test scores. Why? Because your memory and your retention and your attention are also improved. And then finally, it reduces that bouncing around, that monkey mind that we get as we are not focused and bouncing off the walls. And so it helps us hone into what's going on and really give focused attention to the present moment. So physically, there's so many benefits of mindfulness and meditation. And I have to tell you personally, this is how I came to being interested in mindfulness and meditation. My nursing background, my healthcare background, I wasn't very into those esoteric type things. And so it was the health standpoint that actually drew me into it. And there was a physician at Harvard named Herbert Vinson. I take that back. There is a physician. He's been there for years and years and started studying mindfulness in the 70s. And he was looking at it in terms of health benefits as well. And so looking at what does it do for blood pressure? What does it do for some of those cardiovascular markers? And that's exactly what he found, is that meditation, which he coined the term the relaxation response, actually helps reduce blood pressure, helps improve cardiovascular markers, decreases the risk of heart attack, and then other things like improves immunity, which is so important right now. It decreases those inflammatory and autoimmune markers, and so it can improve our immunity. Also, when our mind is more relaxed, those pain centers in our brain that light up are softened and they relax as well. And so we don't feel chronic pain. It helps improve that. So we can overcome pain that's a somatic disease with our mind. Decreasing cortisol. So we talked about how cortisol is that stress hormone, and it also is a huge contributor to inflammation. And so if we don't need it to get away from a situation, then we don't want it in our body because it causes so much inflammation. So decreased cortisol is a huge benefit. Better sleep is also another benefit. Our mind can get back into that restorative, the deep REM sleep, and that helps our bodies as well. And when we can do that, it rejuvenates all those cells, gets oxygen to them when we can sleep better. And then finally, it also increases that size of that prefrontal cortex, which we've talked about as that decision-making the grown-up decision-making part of our brain, and it creates that lovely cycle of events that the more we have a developed prefrontal cortex, the more we can use that mind for thinking in the ways that we want to. So it's a beautiful cycle. Okay, now let's talk about psychological, because this is one of the things that I know we're really after right now. We're under a lot of stress, and so whatever we can do to help ourselves feel better, we definitely want to do right now. And so by participating in mindfulness or meditation practices, we can do all kinds of things to elevate our mood. First of all, it elevates that happiness quotient. It makes us feel more present. We feel more compassionate to ourselves. When we are more compassionate to ourselves, it also reflects on our relationships. So everything that we feel internally, we project to the outside world. So if we can be more accepting and loving of ourselves, we are also going to be more accepting and loving to other people. So therefore, it also increases our life satisfaction. So if we're happier, we're having better relationships with other people, we're going to feel more satisfied in our lives, and we're going to feel like we have more meaning and more purpose in our lives. It also can increase our work satisfaction or our school satisfaction. So the relationships that we're in with other people improve, the work that we're actually doing, we're more focused, we're doing it better, that improves, and so therefore we're satisfied across the board. And then finally, some of those things that we want to have less of, we want to decrease that stress in our life. We want to decrease depression and anxiety. And I believe anxiety is kind of at an all-time high right now. And so anything that we can do to kind of tampen that down, let us know that we're okay and that we're safe, young and old, to decrease that anxiety is a major benefit right now. So these are all the great reasons, they're endless, of why to practice mindfulness and meditation. And as we go forward, we're actually going to get into some strategies of mindfulness and meditation.